Hello and welcome to this edition of One-on-One with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili and thank you for joining us. Hello, Mr. Leggett, how are you?
Very well. Thank you for having me back.
This is our first show of 2018, so I guess it's not too late to say Happy New Year, I guess.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
It is indeed your last year in office. Any specific goals to be attained, accomplished?
Well, I think what we want to do is leave the county in a very sustainable way in terms of our budgets. We want to make certain that we work to provide the resources that are necessary to continue a first-class educational system. Transportation continue to be a challenge for us, working with the state to make sure that we relieve a lot of the traffic congestion that's out on the street. And clearly, we want to be mindful of some of the health and human services challenges our citizens have. But when you balance it all together, I think comparatively, Montgomery County is a very good, very stable position.
It is one county, two budgets. Mm-hmm. Recently, you unveiled the FY 19-24 capital budget for mm-hmm. construction, $4.521 billion, almost half of that to MCPS. What you foresee the future use of that funding?
Well, before we go to the future, let's look back on the past. Keep in mind that most of the time that I've served in office, we've been under very difficult financial challenges. We experienced the worst recession in the history of this county, except for the Great Depression. Coupled with all of that, when I assumed office, I think our projected revenue reserves were about 3 or 4%. Today, we're right at 10% reserve. Despite having now increased the reserves by about 10%, we had 6 new schools, 44 additions. We provided 21,000 additional classrooms. We quadrupled in many cases the amount that we provide for road constructions and for maintenance of roads. If you go to every category, whether or not it's public safety, whether or not you look at counties' recreational centers, look at economic development and how we position the county, you'll see that we've made remarkable progress. Just on affordable housing alone, we provided over $1 billion. That's $1 billion with a B. And with that, we leveraged another $4 billion from the private sector. As a result of that, we've now been able to either preserve or construct 63,000 affordable housing units. That's a remarkable number.
Let's circle back to the future of MCPS with this funding.
Right.
And we're going to talk about what's been done in the last 11 years as well.
Yeah, but I want people to get a picture of what we've already done because oftentimes it's understated. Going forward, we continue to have challenges, of course, in education. So as a result, we need to build additional schools, additions, as well as maintain our schools. We're growing at probably about a 2,500 student per clip each year. So that's a challenge for us to meet that, as well as maintain existing schools. Transportation, despite the fact that we've grown, and despite the fact we've provided a great deal in transportation funding, we still have this gap, and that gap needs to now address a great deal of transit because there's no way for us to build a number of roads, parking, and all the things that are necessary for us to continue as it relates to traffic for, single occupancy vehicles. So we want to invest more in transit. So we'll be open bus rapid transit, new avenues for our buses, and a number of things that we're looking at today in the transit section. Of course, we have the Purple Line that's on the way as well.
Just to circle back to what you were mentioning before, indeed, when you unveiled the capital budget this year, which is your final capital budget here in the county, we did a recap of all of the accomplishments that happened in the county. You just mentioned a few because there were like 50 more projects in addition to those. Do you want to, you talked a little bit about affordable housing and public safety as well, but do you want to go over a little bit when it comes to transportation, which seems to be still one of the main priorities?
I want people to look at a number of things because this show is not long enough for us to go over all of the things that we've accomplished. And in many ways, I sort of low-key this, but this year we decided to put most of that out on a press release. And this is only in the capital budget. And keep in mind what you look at in that press release, and I'd argue for people to go back and look at that. Most of this has been accomplished during the Great Recession. We've done it cheaper. And we've come out at the end of this process with a higher reserve, quadruple the reserves that we started with. That's a remarkable achievement. As you talked about transportation, just look, for example, at road maintenance. We've had a 1,300 increase in road maintenance funding for the county. Let me repeat that, 1,300 in road maintenance. That's an astonishing number. We've invested in a great deal of facilities, bus stops. We've modernized the entire traffic transit signalization in the county. That's all the red lights throughout the entire county. I made a decision earlier that given the malfunction that we had on some, that given where we were in terms of technology and it was outdated, that I decided to go back and really do the entire system. It's one system, but it's an awful lot of red lights around the county.
It is so true.
Yeah.
What's left to do? Obviously, completed 50 projects in 11 years. It is quite an accomplishment, Mr. Leggett, but what do you feel is left to do as far as infrastructure in the county?
Well, again,
I'm sure residents have a long list of
yeah,
suggestions.
there are a long list of suggestions and so forth, because we still have a number of aged facilities. So we need to modernize facilities, bring them up to current codes, whether or not that's in some of the recreation centers. We need to make certain that, as indicated earlier, that we provide additional resources for education, for the maintenance of existing schools. We still have a lot of work to do on transportation because the community is growing. And so as we are talking, you see cranes going around the county, you see road repairs around the county, you see transit projects that started around the county, you see economic development hotspots that we've identified. You look at Wheaton, we are redeveloping Wheaton as the center of Wheaton as we talk. Right down the street, Wheaton, between Glenmont and Wheaton, we're doing a new library. We are doing a new recreation center there as well. We have a number of recreation centers throughout the county that we've either rebuilt and/or we are modernizing them as we go forward. So there are a number of projects to go back through. Certainly, one 6-year CIP will not address all of them, but we're well on the way to many of them.
And one of some of the projects are your legacy, we can say, the Fillmore in downtown Silver Spring, the Civic Center as well in downtown Silver Spring.
New library. In Silver
The
Spring.
library, which is an amazing design. But out of all
But keep in
these,
mind, you mentioned Silver Spring projects. I want people to understand there are a large number of projects up county as well. Germantown, the Gaithersburg area, Gaithersburg Library, the new additions that we've made and renovation at the only library. So you mentioned a couple in Silver Spring, but there are quite a few throughout the
I
entire
started
county.
down county.
Okay, all right.
In addition to that, what has been the biggest headache? This is one of the questions that I actually posed to David Dice when we had him as a guest on the radio show. For you, biggest headache in construction
the
in the
question
county?
that he asked me was not the biggest headache. I think he asked me if there's something I would not have done. And I don't think there's anything that I would not have done. There's some things I would have wanted to do even more. One that I suggested that was an oversight and we did not do it, that is to have this transit authority. And people questioned it at the time. And now people realize the wisdom of that, because by having the transit authority, it allowed us to expand the capacity for the county to build projects without the restraints on our bonding capacity. And we could have gotten many more projects in transportation that we need now. That's one of the things. Someone pointed to, well, the disappointment may be the transit center. Well, in Silver Spring. Well, you go back and keep in mind, before that time, no one had taken this on. It sat there for years and years and years. And there was a reason why, because it was a complicated project. I took that project on. And ultimately, throughout the fact that we had some very tested litigation about it, there was delays, we got that project built. And as a result, there are 10 million people annually that go through that center. That's a remarkable number. I'm not one to back away from a fight. I don't tend to get out engaged in fights the way people typically do. But I'm pretty persistent about some of the things that I want. Keep in mind, I had this fight about the ambulance fee. The ambulance fee was rejected not once, but twice. I continue to push for it. As a result of getting that done, we now have, I think, $82 million that we've collected that allows us to build ambulances, a new fire and rescue station, get additional ambulances, training personnel, a variety of things. $82 million that the taxpayers do not have to come up with.
That was question B. I think I still remember
Yes.
that. We're going to take a short break, Mr. Leggett,
Yeah.
but we'll be right back. Stay
Okay.
tuned.
Here's your chance to save money and help the environment. Bring your reusable bag when you shop and you'll save 5 cents for every store bag you don't need. Retailers in Montgomery County charge 5 cents for the plastic or paper bags they provide. Why? Because plastic bags are the biggest single source of stream and waterway litter, causing pollution and flooding. And every year, Montgomery County spends $3 million on cleanup. So do yourself and the environment a favor. Bring your reusable bag when you shop. You'll fight litter and keep the change.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Hey, mister! Down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout. And this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe. So respect the bus.
Hello and welcome to One-on-One with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili. Mr. Leggett, we were talking about the capital budget. Now let's transition to the other budget, the operating budget, the one that you're dealing with, trying to cope with right now. So what does it look like? What is the forecast?
It's a challenge. I had assumed at this point in time in the administration of the last 3 terms that this final year I would be on a glide path and we would have placed behind us some of the challenges we've had in the midst of recession. But a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, one of which was the change in tax policy at the federal level. They've now had ripple effects in Montgomery County. We've now noticed that in certain jurisdictions throughout the state of Maryland, Montgomery County, Howard County, Talbot County, and Baltimore County, or the wealthiest counties in the state of Maryland, the income tax revenue projections all went down. And what we've learned is that there was a change of behavior by many of our wealthier taxpayers who decided not to take capital gains. And as a result of that, in these very, very wealthy communities, the anticipated tax revenue, income tax revenue, all went down. And so, believe it or not, just a few people, but very wealthy people who did not
50 families or so.
50 families or so. It had a huge impact on our anticipated tax revenue.
So what does that mean now?
That means right now that we have a deficit. We've given the current deficit about $25 million, plus about $70 million of anticipated tax revenue. And you apply that going forward to the next year, eventually you'll get up around $200 million of a hole that we have to fill. Now, before people jump off the cliff saying $200 million.
I was ready to jump myself. Okay.
That's a pretty significant number. But keep in mind, in the past, we've closed gaps of close to $1 billion of projected net revenue loss. And so this is somewhat smaller. But the challenge is that we used an awful lot of options in the past that I will not use at this point in time. And so it's a smaller number. It will, in fact, be a challenge. I do not see significant growth in the upcoming budget, and therefore increases will be smaller in some programs and services that people want because we would have to balance this, and I'm going to have a sustainable, balanced budget as we go forward.
So that was going to be my follow-up question. What are the predicted FY19 cost increases that you need to deal with?
Well, there are a number of cost increases because keep in mind a year ago we had a labor agreement, a 2-year agreement that calls for a 2% increase. So we certainly would have to protect that. We certainly have to make certain that we maintain the maintenance of effort in our educational system, K through 12, as well as the college itself. There are some other challenges you have in public safety that you want to make sure that you protect those. Once you get beyond that, you have challenges in making sure that we keep our libraries open and help for the most vulnerable in Montgomery County. One of the things that I will not do, I will not go back and dig into our reserves. We made a hard, fast commitment to Wall Street some years ago. given the uncertainty that's out there, given the cost that we've already incurred in the existing budgets, given the challenges we have with the new tax policy, for us to go and dip into the reserve and run into some challenges with Wall Street and undermine our financial stability, I think would be a grave mistake, and it could come back to haunt us because there's not a lot of big things on the horizon, because there's no way for us to raise taxes, and we eliminated that possibility, which I predicted on this show a year ago, that by going as high as we ultimately did with the taxes, we really sort of shot ourselves in the foot. We should not have done that, because now you can go back to the public and say, "Oh, we've got this shortfall. We need to make this up." That's off the table.
So creatively speaking, this translates into cutbacks.
It could be, or not much growth at all. But we'll look at it and evaluate it as we go forward. But for people who've anticipated increases in programs and services, that's highly unlikely.
Okay, and definitely no property taxes
No,
increase.
none.
All right. You still going around town listening to county residents during the budget forums? Encourage them to participate still, right? They need to come in and tell you what they want and what they need.
It makes a difference, especially when you have tight budgets, because the decision that we make, how we prioritize our funding, what are the things which people are most feel most importantly about, we need to hear from you. I've been at this for a long period of time, but I do not assume that I know everything about the budget. I do not assume I know everything about the sentiments of people that are out there and how they, in fact, evaluate what we're doing and what we could change. Because I always hear something that's new, and sometimes you hear something that is quite new, and you need to go back and make sure you get that in the budget right away, because it's an important factor that you overlook. So my staff continues to go out, engage with people, to talk to them, and I encourage people to come out. And it's most important you come out when there are budgetary challenges.
Let's transition into the opening of the 2nd District Police Station in Bethesda. This was once again one of these public-private partnerships for the construction of it. Is it officially open already to the public?
Yes, it is officially open now.
It is officially open.
Yes.
And, well, it is part of the accomplishment of the past capital budgets,
Right.
correct?
Well, this is the third police district that we've built during my administration, and we have one more on the way. There'll be 4. We have new fire stations as well, quite a few of those. But here's what we've done, and this is why it's so important. It is part of our Smart Growth Initiative. That is to swap county land that was built in at some point in time some very desirable locations near the Beltway, near Metro, near some of the very, very important portions of land that people necessarily want in terms of tax dollars. So what we did was to switch from a very good location near the Metro station in Bethesda for a location that's still in the central business district, but not as close to the Metro station. Therefore, we get a completely new station. The developers get the land that the county had. They build the station for us, so it's no cost, little or no cost to the county, and we get land now that is producing tax dollars because we have private development on it. And it comes out in a way that I think is quite helpful to the county. New facility, better location in many ways, and we get the tax dollars that will be produced as a result of the development that's going on that property.
Mr. Leggett, we got to take another short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about Discovery Communications and Amazon.
Okay.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Introducing Ride On Extra, coming to Route 355, fall of 2017. The bus with less stop and more go. Regular Ride On service has 80 stops between Lake Forest Transit Center and the Medical Center Metro Station. Ride On Extra has 85% fewer stops. Plus, Ride On Extra is all about the extras. Free Wi-Fi, USB charging ports, real-time info displays, and runs every 10 minutes. It's Ride On Extra. Less stop, more go.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes. Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
Woohoo!
We're in! For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back to this edition of 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. Well, Mr. Leggett, Discovery Communications is leaving the state of Maryland after 15 years, headquartered in downtown Silver Spring. It is a business decision. What is the real impact that could bring to that specific part of town?
Well, certainly when you have 1,300 jobs in the middle of Silver Spring, it would have an impact. But I don't think that impact would endure for a very long period of time, because Discovery is at a location that is really ideal, right adjacent to the Silver Spring Metro, very ideal location in Silver Spring. The challenge for us is to make sure that we get the kind of tenant there that will produce the job and have a long-term, lasting impact on the community. Keep in mind what has happened in the television industry today. Fewer people are watching TV the way we used to watch it. You know,
Don't say that, they're watching us right now.
Yeah. But young people are watching it quite differently and so forth. And so they are experiencing some of those challenges that's unfortunately in the media industry today. And so what they needed to do was to reposition some of their programming and digital platforms that they purchased in order to better position themselves going forward. And so that meant that they were going to relocate just the headquarters component in New York and provide in their subsidiary that they had in Tennessee more of their operational capacity. That saves them money, that repositions them, and it provides a better business model. We made a very strong, very compelling case why they should stay in Silver Spring. But when you look at the business model that they're adopting and you look at what has happened in the television industry, that was a very difficult sell to make. But we really provided, I think, a very strong package for them to stay in Silver Spring. But you cannot fault them for the decisions that they've made. They've been a terrific corporate partner in Silver Spring. They helped us to stabilize and transform Silver Spring. So I wish them all the best. Unfortunately, they couldn't stay, but it's not a result of Montgomery County not fighting and struggling with them, but the industry is significantly changing. They are an independent channel, and if you notice, a number of the channels now are beginning to merge or literally go out of business. They felt that they needed to make this change in order to continue to move forward the way they want to.
You mentioned finding a good tenant for them. It is their building, right? Is the county going to sort of assist, help maybe in looking for a good tenant?
Well, yes, they're working with us, and again, we're looking at a number of options, but we want to make sure that we get the right kind of people there, right type of corporation there in order to show up most of the property. We would love to have an idea, preeminent kind of tenant there to take that property, because it's right in the heart of Silver Spring, and so we don't want to sort of balkanize the building, but to come up with a tenant that can take all of the property. So they've agreed to work with us, and we're working with them to make sure we get the best possible outcome.
Discovery Communications departing downtown Silver Spring, not so good news. Good news, Amazon, and announcing that Montgomery County is indeed in the short list of locations perhaps for the second headquarters in the United States. Now, Governor is offering incentives of $5 billion. Montgomery County, what is Montgomery County offering? I know we're keeping it sealed just a tad, but what are we offering to be the final destination?
Well, all that we would offer and all the state would offer at some point in time, for us to have that separate discussion about that, it meant that we moved along in the process. So if we have that discussion, it meant that Montgomery County is still in the running. We have an excellent shot of getting this Amazon here. So we'd have to wait to see what we reveal a little bit later on. But there's nothing that will not be revealed if we move forward. I would say, first of all, the state is indispensable in this. We cannot move forward and provide the kind of a package incentive-wise and make a compelling case without the state of Maryland. So I want to thank the governor for that. Secondly, it reaffirms a lot of what we've been saying all along about Montgomery County. That is, this is an excellent place in which to live, to work, to raise your family. We have provided a great deal of infrastructure. We have an excellent school system. We have a terrific workforce here in Montgomery County. We're on the cutting edge of so many things that really a desirable location, that makes us a desirable location. Keep in mind there were 240 jurisdictions around the country looking to land this site. We're in the top 20, and that means a great deal. So it's a validation, a good housekeeper stamp of approval, the fact that we're at this particular point in time. I'm very hopeful and optimistic that we can continue to make a compelling case, and I believe that Montgomery County stands a very good chance of getting this. And it would not be because we've not tried. It would not be because of the things we've not done. We've put together an excellent team under my Chief Administrative Officer, Tim Feinstein, and the people that are working with him, our Economic Development Corporation, Bob Buchanan and David Petrie, and all of the people working together. It was a terrific show for Montgomery County to come out. We're the only county at this point in time, I think, at this level.
And what would it mean for Montgomery County if Amazon decides on a second headquarters right here in our neck of the woods?
This is
and we do have 1 million square feet of space for them, correct? Yeah. Obviously.
Obviously, we met all of the things which they initially decided they would like to have. This is 50,000 jobs, 50,000 highly paying jobs. There would be an average of over $100,000 per job. Now, when people look at the prospects of the state providing the kinds of monies that it had put out, first of all, you're not writing a check to say, here's $3 or $4 million for you to go out and Amazon and do what you want with it. This means investment in transportation. Transportation in many projects that we would like to build anyway. It means providing some tax incentive that right now you're not receiving at all. And it's done over a long period of time. In the Seattle area over a 5-year period, the impact of Amazon was about $38 to $40 billion. We're talking an investment that will provide over a longer period of time of less than $3 or $4 billion. That's a big difference, a big payoff. So I think this is something that obviously we can afford and is an investment that I think will help us in the long term. Keep in mind, you remember, the federal government just closed. We are heavily reliant upon the federal government. We need to change that paradigm in order to move forward for the future.
It's fair to say that that team is working overtime, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mr. Leggett, I think we have about 30 seconds left. Any other things that you're looking forward in the next 11 months to get done and then pretty much walk out of this building?
Well, there are a lot to get done. Unfortunately, I have a little short period of time to do it, but I've been so happy with the progress we've made, but there's a lot of progress you can make over the next few months. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett. We'll see you again next month. And for you watching at home, to remember any information about the show to visit montgomerycountymd.gov. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going.
Recycle more now.